Welcome to the Sip Revolution podcast, your ultimate destination for navigating the world of alcohol without surrendering the sips you enjoy. I'm your host, Salome, and I'm passionate about helping you reclaim control over your drinking. In this podcast, we're on a mission to equip you with practical, science-backed strategies that will help you transform your relationship with alcohol on your own terms. We will also uncover how society and the film industry often normalize and romanticize alcohol and the profound impact this has on our physiology and psychology. And we'll dig into the nitty-gritty of how alcohol affects your brain, both physically and mentally. So whether you're trying to cut back, moderate your intake, or simply gain a better understanding of your drinking habits, the Sip Revolution podcast is your partner in crime on this life-changing journey. So let's start this adventure together. Grab your favorite drink, or not, settle in, and let's sip our way to a healthier and wiser relationship with alcohol. Cheers to a new perspective on sipping. Hello and welcome. In today's episode, I wanted to share a concept that I developed during my recovery journey and that I am now using with my coaching clients. This concept is called TSM Win. If you don't know what TSM means, it stands for the Sinclair Method, which is a scientifically proven method to gradually remove alcohol addiction from the brain and achieve moderate drinking effortlessly. With time, slowly but surely, the amount of alcohol that you drink goes down, as well as the thoughts and obsession about it. Because this method is gradual, progress doesn't look the same for everybody. For some people, results can be very quick. For others, it can take much longer. It is also usually not linear. The quantities that you drink could go up and down, up and down. This is why I think it's very important to notice, acknowledge, and celebrate TSM wins, no matter how big or small. It also doesn't have to be factual or tangible. Removing addiction is not only about the amount of alcohol that you drink or the number of alcohol-free days that you have. It also includes more subtle data, like how many times a day do you think about alcohol? Or do you have to force yourself to have an alcohol-free day? Or does it come quite naturally? This mental aspect is often overlooked in recovery programs like AA, which really emphasize the I will not drink today, no matter what it costs me. So I wanted to share the first TSM win that I ever experienced. At the beginning of my journey, I was drinking every single day, with no exception. I had 0 alcohol-free days. Every day, I would just wait until it was socially acceptable to drink to start drinking. I would look at the clock, and as soon as it was 5 p.m., I would start drinking. I would have to talk myself out of starting earlier. And it was really the highlight of my day. 5 p.m., drinking. Then, about 6 months in, I started to realize that I was asking myself, do I want to drink tonight? However, I would still drink every night. So I felt very discouraged because I thought there was no progress. I was still drinking similar quantities, maybe slightly less, but it was barely noticeable, and I was still drinking every night. This is when I took a step back and realized something. For the first 6 months, I wouldn't even ask myself if I wanted to drink or not. I knew I wanted to. It was no question asked. I would drink every day without even wondering if I should or shouldn't. So when after 6 months I started to ask the question, do I want to drink? I realized it was actually a big win. Now I was considering the possibility of not drinking on a given night. And even though for quite a few months I kept drinking every night, This was showing that my brain was slowly changing on a subconscious level and slowly getting less fixated on alcohol. You see, this win wasn't about a factual change, because my drinking at this stage was more or less the same. It was the smallest detail, just a new thought about asking myself the question, even though the actions didn't change. This was my first TSM win ever, and it took me some time to realize it was a win. But once I unlocked this discovery, it was extremely powerful. It really helped me shift from a number-only way of measuring progress to a more holistic approach of addiction and de-addiction. This happened almost 2 years ago, and I am now in a totally different place. I reached extinction, which means that I am not addicted to alcohol anymore. I am not alcohol-free or abstinent. I still enjoy alcohol from time to time, but in much, much lower quantities. I also don't obsess about alcohol anymore, and I can go days or weeks without even thinking about having a drink. Usually, I don't drink at home, but I will enjoy a glass of wine or a cocktail when I go on a date or when I meet friends at the pub. Now, my latest TSM win happened last week. I met family at a restaurant for a celebratory dinner, and as always, I brought my medication with me. This is how TSM works. You need to take a tablet before you drink, each time you drink, even after you've reached extinction. It protects your brain from the strong euphoric effects of alcohol by stopping the feedback loop. So what usually happens is that about an hour before I arrive at the restaurant, I ask myself if I feel like drinking alcohol. If I do, I take the tablet. If I don't take the tablet. At this dinner last week, I realized on my way back home that I forgot to ask myself if I wanted to drink or not. I completely forgot. I didn't think about taking the tablet. I just ordered a Diet Coke. This was what felt normal and natural at the time of dinner. And this, for me, is the biggest win. The real key here isn't that I stayed sober at dinner. A lot of people can abstain from drinking for a meal if they want to or if they need to. However, it can be a very painful experience. It can be a lot of repeating to yourself, I can't drink or I shouldn't drink. It can involve a lot of resentment or jealousy when seeing other people around the table drinking. It can be a real fight not to drink. So here, even though the result was the same, not drinking, it's the way it happened that was absolutely new. I didn't care if other people at the table were drinking or not. It was just a non-event in my brain. I ate good food, I had fun catching up with family, and I just completely forgot about alcohol for the full length of dinner. This situation is so foreign, so new to me, that it's even hard to comprehend and explain. I didn't consider the possibility of drinking, even though I could have drunk if I wanted to. So here again, the real win is not about staying sober, but more about how it happened. It was very smooth, easy, without even thinking about it. This is what I love about this method. It's not only about the result, aka the quantity of alcohol that you drink, or whether you stay sober or not. It's also about how you reach these factual results. It happens naturally. It's just what your body tells you to do, and you just follow your instinct. This is why it is so much easier to achieve your goal, and that's why it is so different from all of the other methods like white-knuckling it and taking it one day at a time. That's why it is a lot more sustainable and why the success rate is close to 80%, compared to 10% for the abstinence-based approach. And that's why I love it and why I am committed to spreading the word. So these were my 2 TSM wins that I wanted to share today. I hope it inspired you and allowed you to see alcohol use disorder from a new angle. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to learn more about my story and the science behind moderate drinking, download your free handbook in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, leave me a rating or a review. It helps us reach even more listeners and transform lives. I'll see you next time on the Sleep Revolution podcast.